Yep.
Oh, anything.
Okay, so I think we might make a start, everybody. So it's my great pleasure to be able to introduce Professor Q for what is the third presentation on 3 different topics, which is just a testament to the breadth of knowledge that he brings to this area. So Professor Q has over 40 years of industrial academic experience in program and engineering management. He's currently a research professor and director of the Polymer Nanocomposites Technology Lab in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at the University of Texas at Austin, and also the co-founder or the founder of KAI LLC, which is his company, where he serves as the vice president and CTO. He's a Santi Fellow and the chairman of the Santi Nanotechnology Committee. He's also an associate fellow of AIAA and a past chair of the AIAA Materials Technical Committee. Professor Q has won almost all the awards you can think of, and is sponsored by just about all the departments of the US government that you can think of, including NASA. So we're very fortunate to have Professor Q be in the country and to have time to present to us. So I'll welcome him to give his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad to be here. First of all, I need to give thanks to 2 people who actually brought me here. One is Dr. Kathy, as well as Professor Brown. They actually invited me here to see the lecture. This is my third lecture. And this is all about my book. I'm going to pass it along. You can take a look at the book and see whether you're interested in this kind of area. Okay, I'm going to, can you turn off this light? Yeah, thank you. I'm going to tell you a little about Houston, Texas. Okay, right here. Let's see. Thank you. Can you turn it on? Yeah. Okay, some of them you may not know, but I'm going to repeat it again. This is my third lecture. This is Houston, Texas, Austin. This is number 1. We are very heavy in football, not the same kind of football as American football. 2005, we won national champion, and since then we have never won any champions. So when we won a national champion on certain sports, this is called a powerhouse where the president of the university stayed there, and we were rated #1. Okay. Since I work closely with my colleagues, and then he said that anytime you go out of the country, you need to use this front slide. That's why I need to explain that. This is University of Texas at Austin, and I'm a research professor in mechanical engineering. I'm going to tell you a little bit about fundamentals, properties, and application of polymer nanocomposite. I actually taught this class at UT Austin 2006. I wrote my first book, and this is my second book, which is extension of my first book, and I developed this class and course in UT Texas, and a lot of my students actually contribute to some of the work that I wrote my second book. Okay, with that, I'm going to tell you a little bit of my seminar. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the projects that we are involved in. Nanocomposites is one area, but we actually involved in a lot of different areas. That's why I told Professor Bateman that when he came here, I got a good 3 different lectures on 3 totally different subjects. That's kind of and that's what when I first was contacted, and I said I could talk all about these because these are areas that I'm working on. I'm going to tell you a little bit about, this is actually all about fundamentals of polymer nanocomposite. I'm going to tell you a little bit about introduction. I'm going to ask some questions about nanotechnology and give you an overview of what is the nanomaterials. And the important thing is how you process these nanocomposites, and you talk about later on structures and properties. If you're a polymer person, you always talk about processing, structures, and property. You need to learn about the relationship between these 3. And later on I add another one or replace property with performance. Okay, so that's very important. And I'm going to only give you 3 examples. Okay, that talk about the mechanical properties of polymer nanocomposite. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the thermal property of polymer nanocomposite. And one area I'm going to tell you a little bit about permeability and conductive property of polymer nanocomposite. And I'm going to end up telling you opportunities, like trends and challenges of polymer nanocomposite, and an overall conclusion and acknowledgement. Okay, so this is a marketing slide. So these are the different areas that we have been working on. See, I'm a professor, but I work in the industry 20 years before I turned in academia. The important thing is you need to market your expertise. Otherwise, you think you're the best, unless you're Albert Einstein. Everybody knows you. But if you are actually doing nanocomposite, you're going to have a lot of competitors all over the world. They're going to compete with you, write a proposal, and only the best guy will win. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about, I actually, Friday, and in the campus, I talk about ablation research. These are different, actually, projects funded by our government or by private industry. Majority of these are funded by the government. I'm not going to go through all these because I actually gave a seminar and tell you a little bit about ablation research. I'm writing my 4th book on ablation science technology, and that's what I'm going to save it in there. One area that I'm going to talk about is flame retardant polymer. And my first lecture was all about selective sintering, field deposition, multi-jet, additive diffraction. That was my first lecture. And I think if somebody interested in those materials, go contact Professor Bateman. So that's what we talk about, flame retardant polymer. And another area we work on is conductive polymer research. Polymer is insulated. In order to make it conductive, you need to add some nanomaterials in there. Depends on what kind of actually application you do. You will make it actually into electrically or thermally conductive. They are not the same, but we were able to change the property from insulated polymer to a electrically or actually thermally conductive polymer. And we work on thermal signing ester, we work on epoxy, we also work on CNT with majority of the application I'm working on is towards aerospace. And these are the ones that actually didn't fit in this area, so I just lump it by others. So that's pretty much what we've been doing for the past 20 years, okay? It's not just 1 year, all 21 years what we have done with my research group and also with my company. Okay, this is actually, I'm following my book very closely. This particular book I've written, actually I use it to teach a class. It's a 15-week class. I'm going to give you information, probably a little bit over an hour, about each chapter, okay? Some of them I'm going to skip, okay? That's why it's referring to chapter 1 is to the book, okay? So I'm going to introduce you to what is nanotechnology. I want to see a show of hands. Don't be bashful. Who have actually worked with nanocomposites or worked with nanotechnology? So I see at least half, okay? Some of those you have not worked on that. I give you a brief introduction. Here we go. So why is it so different? Okay, you're talking about, I'm going to use an example. DNA is 2.5 nanometers in diameter. It's in nanometer, okay? When you go to bacteria, they are very large. When you go to raindrop, it's in millimeter. So another area that you probably start working on, heard of, single wall carbon nanotube. By definition, single wall carbon nanotube, the diameter is 1 nanometer in diameter. And then you go down to here, okay, to house. Okay, so you need to think about the size. In our daily life, you see, this is actually an N is 4 millimeter. But when you talk about some of these nano particles I'm going to introduce to you, is in one of the dimension is nano size. Okay, so this is a good, actually, it came from 2006, my first book, that we use this particular example. Human red blood cells, 10,000 nanometers. That's very large. And then you come to bacteria E. coli. You probably heard of E. coli. Is the one that gets you sick when you're eating not clean salad. Okay, it's 1,000 nanometers. I want you to concentrate on polymers. This is what I call polymer nanocomposite. I don't deal with metal nanocomposite. This is polymer. The polymer coil polymer chain is roughly 40 nanometers. So when you have these polymer coil polymer chain interact with the nanomaterials, you get very different properties. Okay, so that's what I want to hold your attention to. Okay, this is a very simple, actually, figure that we draw. Nanoclay, nanographene, probably one of the most researched nanomaterials is nanoclay. Nanoclay, more than 15, 20 years ago, the Toyota group started with nanoclay. They are the one who kick off this nanocomposite. And nanographene, only a few years ago, you heard about the Nobel Prize laureate. They actually won, they are professor in England, they won actually Nobel Prize for talk about nanographene. And coming down here, it's what I call, this is what I call one-dimension nanomaterials. The other one is two-dimension. Okay, carbon nanotube, horosite, all these are actually the diameter. All the nanomaterials are in the nano size. The last one, if you have heard some of these parts, titanium dioxide, silica, nanosilica, these are the diameter of all these nanomaterials. Okay, why is it so important? Okay, when you deal with conventional macro composite, carbon fibers, or like silica fiber composite, they are talking about actually micron size fibers. So the interaction between the resin and the fibers are very close. And when you go down to nanomaterials, at least one dimension of these nanoparticles are actually in nano size. So the interaction between the polymer coil polymer is even closer. So what is it going to bring you? Ultra large in the surface area per volume. Okay, so that's what you see. You don't see in nanocomposite, you see in nanocomposite. So you have very, very short distances between the two components. That's make it very, very different. Okay, so that's what I talk about in chapter 1. In chapter 2, I'm going to give you an overview of nanomaterials. Okay, this is a very simple chart that I created. Platelets, 1 nanosize dimension. Only the thickness, like clay, nanographene, and the layer double silicate, only the thickness is nanosize. The XY you see is actually micron size. So L over D is very large. It will give you reinforcement. That's what I put it as a platelet. The next area that I put in underneath is fiber. Fiber, only the diameter, we call it actually nano size. You have work with carbon nanofibers, CNT. Even on the CNT, you have single wall, double wall, multi-wall. Depends on the diameter of all these CNTs. You have hollow side, you have nickel nanostrands, you also have aluminum oxide nanofibers. I actually work on all these in my lab. Okay, all these. And the last one I want to show you is particulates, because these are what you call nanoscale dimensions. Anybody work on parts? You know what's parts? Okay. See which one we got? Yeah, parts. Yeah. That is a nanomaterial. I know the CEO of parts quite well, Dr. Joseph Lick, and I'll tell you the story later on. Nanosilicon has been around for a long time. Okay, so those are what you see. All these 3 nanoscale, I call it particulates. So you basically, when you work with certain things, you group them, which is it platelet, fiber, or like particulates. So those are the important things you need to know. I think people are like now getting smart. They're going to combine some of these. But I don't want to see somebody just drop everything like making soup. They throw it all together and say it's really good. But they actually don't understand why, what the contribution of each nanoparticle is coming from. But I've seen people start, oh, okay, I'm going to put this and this together and make soup. And it came out to be sometimes good, sometimes bad. But I don't like that approach. They say you can mix them together. If you put it together, there must be a reason. Okay? So that's what I want to kind of let you know. Well, when you put nanoparticle in the polymer, well, you can see a lot of what you call improved properties. The first most important one is mechanical. So if you have a polymer, if you degrade the mechanical property, that becomes useless. A lot of people didn't realize it. Oh, I put this. A lot of these nanoparticles become intrusion in your polymer. If you didn't disperse it well, you didn't have a surface treatment, you're not going to get what you want. That's why I put mechanical is the most important. It's almost given that you need to maintain or don't degrade too much of mechanical. Mechanical, you have different things to worry about. Okay? Next thing, you could improve what you call gas barrier. Okay? Clay is very good at that. And you come down the list, primological, dimension, stability. Another area I work a lot is actually on ablation. Okay? And flame retardancy. All these are what you call improved properties. When you work with macro composite, a lot of times you may actually put a fiber in there, majority of the time you will get better mechanical properties. But in nanocomposite is different. You may be able to see 1 or 2 of these if you choose the right nanomaterials. Some of them you want to see, some of them are surprise actually properties. But you need to characterize it. So that's what we have, what you call improved property. So that's the beauty about nanocomposite. You put a small amount. If somebody tell you I'm going to put 30% of nanomaterials, I got this, they're bullshitting you because you're wasting your money and your time to put so much. There's no rule of thumb. Depends on which nanoparticles. I'll pick clay. Roughly 5% is all you need. You put the clay in your polymer, can be thermoplastic, can be thermoset, or thermoplastic elastic. Roughly 5%. You look at the literature, you'll find that. You put more than that, it's going to hurt your mechanical property, and that's what you want to watch out. Another area is what you call disadvantages. Most important one is viscosity increase, especially when you work with thermoset. You put a little bit of nanomaterials in there, your thermoset is so viscous, if you're using it for like as a resin and put it in the fiber, you cannot process it. Then you lost the processability. And you may say, I have a very good nanocomposite, but I cannot process anything. Well, that's useless. Okay, so you really need to think about viscosity. The same thing works for thermoplastic. And you put it in the twin screw, and suddenly, Dr. Kathy talked to me the day before, and he's putting all these in there, and the machine is not cranking because it creates a lot of torque. It may break the twin screw. Okay, so that's what you see in some of these, what you call viscosity increase. If viscosity increase so high, you cannot even actually turn the twin screw. You may break the twin screw. And that's what you need to watch out. The most important thing I want to actually caution you is dispersion difficulty. Dispersion is very important because you put the nanoparticles in there, you don't disperse it correctly, you'll never see what they tell you about these properties. Well, another thing is optical issues. You deal with a transparent polymer, and you put carbon base in there, everything is all black. So you have to watch out and say that you put a little bit of carbon black in there, it's going to be all black, and for the application you need transparency. It's not going to work. It may give you other property. So those are the things. The other one I want to caution you is some of these nanoparticles, especially ceramic, very high in density. So when you stir it, it's really good. But when you stop doing that, I'm just giving an example as thermoset. You don't cross-link it, well, all these particles are going to sink in the bottom. That's what I call sedimentation. So those are the things you need to watch out when you disperse your nanoparticle into your polymer, and a lot of times you just thermoset. You would like to disperse the best you can and immediately actually cross-link them. And then you will actually lock up all these nanomaterials in the resin, and you'll get some good product. And after you do that, we'll start using TEM to check the dispersion. So this is something that I just talked about, the black color. So those are the important things that I want to watch out, and when you're doing nanocomposite. So I jumped to chapter 5 already, okay? So I have 15 chapters. I'm going to go through it a little bit over an hour. Well, the next thing that's very important is what you call processing. Remember I told you processing, structure, and properties. If you do not have a good processing technique, you're not going to get a good nanocomposite. I'm going to give you a little bit of example about the differences method. Depends on your polymer, depends on your material. You will have this, what you call, different type of processing technique. I'm going to briefly show you some of these. There are different techniques for different things, okay? Solution interpolation. It's mostly a chemist technique. Okay? They will do synthesis. Mail intercalculation is also you could do metal compounding. Pre-roll milling, centrifugal. Those are different types of technique we encounter in the community. Sometimes you may actually have to use 2 of them. I don't want to use 3 or 4 because the more processing you need to do, eventually when you go to industry, it's going to be very expensive. So in terms of liquid, In situ polymerization, that's a chemistry technique. Okay, emulsion polymerization is very similar, except use water. High shear mixing is an engineering technique. I'm going to show you some of the ultrasonication. A long time ago, I don't like this particular technique because all you can do is just a beaker. And now the technology is extending. You can actually use ultrasonication for the whole drum of thermoset. And that's what I see. One thing I want to point out to you: everything that my research group or my companies do, we actually have to scale up. If I can mix so much in the lab, I need to make that much. Otherwise, I'm not solving a problem. I'm going to tell you about the methodology of solving a problem, not too much about the actually the results. The results important, but I want to preach more about the methodology. So here is what you see is the challenge is I'm using clay. You have a clay used usually when you buy nanomaterials, you may not be aware of. All of them are actually in micron size. They do not sell you a nano size. Why? Because it's very difficult to give you nano size. You need to figure out, in the meantime, it's very difficult for transportation. If you sell a micron size nanomaterials on the technical data sheet or MSDS sheet, it's not a nanomaterial. Then they will ship it. If you're actually selling it as a nano size, you have a lot of problem of actually sending, even to us, US, if you try to send it overseas, that's impossible. Okay, so most of the nanomaterials you actually will buy are microns. The challenge for you is to how you disperse these nanomaterials in the resin and make it, this is clay. This is what you do. It's all stacks of clay, and eventually you get single clay. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Okay, this is what I borrowed from. I think this one came from Jeff Gilman from NIST. So you put the polymer into the nanoclay, and then you have all these techniques, situ polymerization, processing, and you make it into a nanocomposite. Then you have what you call terminology. Okay, mind you, all these are referring to my book, which particular figure I'm using. So interpolated state is what you see. You have still an orderly clay. You have this polymer coil getting in between, but this is the preferred state exfoliation. I think I'm always when I'm teaching my students, I want them to use the right terminology. Do you know why? You don't use the right terminology when people Google you or do find your paper, they could not find your paper. Okay? And you have to use the terminology everybody uses. You don't try to be, I'm so smart, I'm going to create something, it's with my name in there. Nobody's going to read the paper. You need to be very general, use the same keywords, and your paper will be hit. Got it? Because when I actually made, determined a long time ago with Cambridge, should I call it nanocomposites or I call it nanostructure? And my editor told me, let's do a Google and see which one that's it. And you find a nanocomposite, that's it. So my second book was still called nanocomposite. Instead of called nanostructure, all these fancy words that you will not get as many hits. So this is what I show you as trin-screw extrusion. Okay, this is only good for thermoplastic and thermoplastic elastic. So you have hopper in your material there, you melt it, and you have different zones. Then each zone you drop in your nanomaterials, you'll make it actually a nanocomposite at the very end. This is commercial available. So you would like to design something you could use existing. You could. You don't want to come up with something that you have to ask your sponsor or somebody, you got to buy all these new equipment. Well, guess what? Your solution is not going to be used. You have to start looking at what are the people using. Trin-screw extrusion is one of the actually very well used in thermoplastic resin. So they will use your solution. Okay. Next one. This is another one. It's called free roll milling. Okay, this company is from Germany. Exact. They do actually, this is like a lab scale, but they do actually have bigger scale. Okay, so most of the thing actually I'm teaching you now is it can be scaled up. I don't want to do anything that is not scalable. Well, this is another like what you call centrifugal processing. I know this company quite well. Thank you. I'm not selling the instrument, but they're very nice to me. They always invite me to Japan, and I give lectures similar to this, sponsored by Thinking. So they actually, I start using their equipment, and then this is actually, the good thing about this is very easy to use. The time to use and actually clean up is very easy. And they also could go up to large scale. So they will actually go to almost like 64, like very large scale, that this particular technology is scalable. If you have money, you just buy the big one and you go to production. And that's what I'm always looking for. Is this dispersion technique scalable? If not scalable, I'm not interested, because nobody could follow your procedure and make a nanocomposite. I always look at it. You can do it in small amount. I would like you to do a truck. Okay, so that's important. And then this is what they actually have. Actually, that very large, in production. Okay. That's what I like the equipment. And I was in Japan actually in July, and I gave a seminar similar to this, but actually mostly to the industry. Okay, so there's another one that I use in my lab as high shear mixing. This company is IKA Corrosion. They are Swedish. I think they're Swedish company. They could actually go scale up. But what I want to tell you is this is not your what you call when you go. I don't know about in Australia. In US, it's called Home Depot. You buy all the stuff. They put they call high shear mixing, and still you're paying. That's not what we want to do. This is high shear mixing. It's almost like what you call corrosion. Basically, you suck your particles in there and actually grind it, and then you have very, very good high shear mixing. We actually were able to do a lot of clay nanocomposite from there for films. Okay, so that is also scalable too. Okay, so like I said earlier, I don't like this a long time ago because you could put this little tube in there and this is all I get. No, they are different type. Horn type, water bath type is not actually, you can do it very small and very takes a long time. And sometimes I will talk to my colleagues, how long did it take you? 1 week. Well, that's not good. How do you want to do your processing in 1 week? When you take this process to the industry, nobody's going to buy it. Okay, so because of this technology now, they actually have very large. They can actually, a horn type, you stick it in there, using frequency, different frequency, they will be able to sonicate a drum. Drum is the size I'm interested in. Okay, so that is actually doable. Okay, I'm going to go to chapter 6. Okay, chapter 6, I'm going to talk about structure and property. That's very important. I'm going to go through each step, and then I'll show you some examples. Structure. I'm going to talk about two things in structure. Structure. These are morphology. You probably use a lot of these already in your lab. We use majority of those. We look at the structure of the material, see whether, first we see whether it's well dispersed. I actually use a lot more of the TEM because TEM is very tedious. I'm going to see a show here. How many of you actually use TEM in your research? Okay, so fair enough. A lot of people, especially in industry, they say, I don't want to use TEM because they don't have it. Consider yourself lucky. You're in the university, you have TEM. Okay. TEM is very expensive and it takes a long time, okay, to be trained. And I tell you a secret. There's only one of my students who could do TEM. None of them would like to take the time to learn because it takes so much time to actually cut the material, throw the material, and look at the images. Okay. And how is the only student I ever had that will learn TEM? Okay. TEM is very, very, very useful, and all these are useful. But TEM actually could show you directly. This is what I call measurement. All the other things that you can see, it's good, but is it really dispersed well? You don't know. Okay. The next one I'm going to talk about is these what I call characterization. We talk about bulk properties. All these probably you have done mechanical, chapter 7 to tell you about all these examples. Chapter 8, it will show you thermo-rheological property. I think one of the professors asked me about, do you do rheology? Yes, we do, certain ones. Okay, that's important. And then chapter 9, they talk about permeability. I think one of the lady over there is interested in permeability. That's what we do, what we call permeability problem. Each chapter will give you an example. Some of them are for my own research, some of them are not. Okay, and ablation. This is one area that I put a lot of time in there, and we do a lot of ablation property, and these are all spelled out in each chapter. Electrical, optical, and other properties. So that's we're almost done. Chapter 13. Okay. So this is what we have, and this is what is important about TEM. And it's so tedious. You have to cut it, and then you got to cut very small sample. You got to ion mill it, and that makes it a very good technique. If you actually are working in the industry, I highly encourage you learn that, because that will help you a lot further down the road. Because the university will provide the equipment and training. In the industry, you don't actually have that kind of equipment, except national laboratories. It's very, very different. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of these TEM that we did. Okay, here's an example. Here's what we did actually on clay. And you may actually have heard of this chloride 30B. It used to be Southern Clay product. Southern Clay product is no longer in existence. BYK bought them, and we use the clay. So when we put the clay in an IPA, and I'll tell you why I use IPA later on, that is like that. Okay, you see layers of clay stacked together. The trick is this: when you actually see that, you can only, but you cannot tell you how good of the dispersion. When you cut the clay this way, you see that the thickness. Then you can see actually the how well dispersed. So unfortunately, you got to cut a lot of samples in order to see this orientation. And the XY, I call XY, which is the thickness of C. If you actually cut a sample like that, you cannot see. You may say, yeah, they're stacked together, but it's not a good actually way to see how well dispersed. You need to cut it the way it's the C direction thickness, and you will see. I'll show you some other examples. All these are different type of nanomaterials we use in my research. Carbon nanofibers, and for the polymer, all these fibers became, when you buy it, it's all entangled. You need to kind of break it out a little bit and disperse it. But you don't want to totally break it down. You totally break it down, you lost this actually length. So that's kind of, you need to see how well you could disperse. If you have this kind of all tangle, you could never disperse it. But you need to break it down small enough, but not, you don't make it, the fiber so short. Then otherwise you actually have a smaller LD. So this is something that we use. This is pass. When they sell it to me, they say it's nanoparticle. When I see them, well, these are actually micron. They're very large. But the trick is, if you use the right one, and I'll show you an example, in the right surface treatment, it will turn into nanoparticles. Okay? So this is an example. This is something we did. There's a PT15 styrene ester. And ester, one of the resin system we use, we put this pass in there. Well, what it's showing me is the one I show you, pass is very large. But you have the right technique and the right surface treatment, all the pass you can see go from 20, 200, 100 to 50. These little things, when you do EDAX, you can see these are truly SiO2 because those are the certificate of pass. So that shows you this little thing is 50 like nanometers. And when you take the EDAX right in the matrix, you could also see SiO in there. So that means you have molecular dispersed, your path go back from this size to nano size. That's what I call very good dispersion. Clay, path is very different. Path is different nanomaterials than any other nanomaterials because when you work with the other nanomaterials, it doesn't disappear. It will say, just for clay, it will make it better dispersion. It still see the same clay. But path, if you actually use it carefully, you will be able to have this kind of molecular dispersion. And the property changes quite a bit. So that's what we did in one of our research. It was sponsored by Air Force. So another thing that we do a lot is what we call TGA. Okay, we'll be able to see. I'm just showing an example. Nylon 12, and you have these different clay, different loading of carbon nanofiber. You can see a better thermal stability. Thermal TGA will only give you thermal stability. You don't want to do more than what the instrument can give you. Okay, a lot of people use TGA data and say, well, it's flame. It gives you flame property. No, it doesn't. It only gives you thermal stability. And here, what it shows is every one of those are actually thermally stable. Even better, if you do a 90% or 50%, you will see the thermal, the temperature, the composition temperature is higher than the need. So, but not everyone will behave like that. But this is one that we did, and we have all these nanomaterials into the nylon 12 because nylon 12 is one of the materials we use for selective sinter. So this is another tool that we use, cone colorimetry. I think we just wrote a paper, and one of the reviewers said, why do you use cone colorimetry? Why do you use this? I'm going to respond to him and say that cone colorimetry is nice. No question about it. But cone colorimetry cannot give you UL90 over V0. So that's what he missed the point and say that, well, why do you use this and this? If I have a UL90 over V0, why do I care about the cone colorimetry data? It's not. Okay, so you're not going to just, some people will have their head set up, I need to do this and this before I get to that. Well, it's known to literature. Cone colorimetry is a very good tool. It will give you heat release rate, it will give you all these. But if you say, I have a very good heat release rate and I try to use this particular formulation and put into UL94, it may not get you a UL94 V0. Why is it so important? Because that's where the material is going to go to industry to look at. Is it a V0, V1, or V2? You can give them all the cone colorimetry data. All they care is it a V0? Okay, all the computer housing or the actual device, you have to have a V0. You can, at least in US. I don't know about Australia, but Australia may have another standard. Okay, England has another standard. US is not actually is a very wide open standard that people use. So this is an instrument that we use in my lab called MCC, micro scale composite. It's very small. You don't need as much as cone colorimetry, test plate, but I'm using it as a guide. I'm not going to see, I use it as a screener. It's the same thing as cone colorimetry. You actually use it as a screening to learn more about your material, all the properties. Okay, we have this instrument. I do actually have access to cone colorimetry because it's so big, and I talk to my students, well, how long will it take you to print a FDM cone colorimetry? It's 8 hours. Oh, that's a long time. And cone colorimetry requires 3. So it means I spend 24 hours to get one formulation to go to cone colorimetry. That's not what I want to see. I would like to actually use MCC to give me some idea. And I look at the trend, okay? So now I don't use a lot of cone colorimetry because especially in injection mode it's easy. In printing, I mean, FDA would take, I shouldn't say 8 hours to get one. Well, he's going to print, I always ask for the sender give you 3, I said, I just want to have one more to show and tell later. So you print 4 of those, and each one of those may not be the same when you print out. Then I have to go to the colorimetry. So that's why I didn't actually use colorimetry anymore in my research, especially when I'm dealing with cutting diffraction. When I was doing actually thermoset, I use a lot. Okay. So another thing is U94 is actually a Bunsen burner test. You put it in there and you burn it, and you and you see 10 seconds, and you get rating V0, 1, or 2. Is it a good test? It's not a perfect test. But when you try to sell your material to the industry, they're looking for V0. If you don't pass this test, you don't have this rating, forget it, they're not going to buy your material. So that's what we are in the business of, making material that would pass this test. As a matter of fact, home chemistry and U94, different tests. They are not the same. You could actually play around with the material to pass the test. U94 V0. But that's what you do for formulation. Okay? So this one I'm going to talk about mechanical. Mechanical is most important. I'm going to actually draw one example from my friend from MIT, Professor Wardo. He makes significant advancement in this whole area to have better using CNT, and what he's looking at interlaminate surface. Okay, so basically he is growing the CNT actually in the prepreg. I think original he started with actually like silica, now it's going to carbon. So he will be able to grow actually these CNT forms. This is what he's doing. He was actually aligning all these CNT and grow it, and then this is the fiber. He actually growed it, and then eventually put all these into like he started with pre-preg. He started actually like a frapping, came from Cytec or came from another company, and he grew that. Okay, so he was able to do that. All these were actually published in the journal papers. I follow his work really well. He's a very good friend, and he actually come up with all these very sophisticated methods to grow and to do all these samples. One of the criticisms I actually for Brian is, well, who's going to scale this up? Right now, nobody could scale this up. He may be able to make that big. If you want to make that big, no one actually could scale this technology up. Maybe someday somebody would do it. But he has very, very basic research, very good results. But nobody actually is going to put the money to scale this up. And he did all these roller, and see, this is very small, like this, like 10 millimeters. This is the sample he made. You want to make the wing, it's still a long way to go. Okay, so I'm going to go through all these, but the important thing is his research is world class. That's why I picked it as chemical. I think the only thing that I criticize Brian is who is going to come up with a way to scale, because we do research in the lab. My research is a bit different. We do all the things in the lab, and I'm going to team up with a company that will be able to scale up. Then you'll be able to solve your problem a lot faster. I'm not stand here and tell you I'm a problem solver. That's all I do. If you have a problem, you come to me and I solve it. It's not just me. I have a group of people. Now I have my new collaborator, our MIT. They will be helping me to solve these problems. And that's what's so important. If you just tell people I'm a scientist, I'm a technologist, I write papers. Well, papers come in secondaries to me. Okay? If I wrote enough paper, write enough books, do I really care I write another paper? No. I'm only interested in solving problems. So that's why we solve very, very difficult problems. Majority of my research has been funded by Department of Defense. Okay? Some of them I cannot tell about, but it's very, very difficult. Okay? And that's what we do. Okay? So this is what he did, and he explained all these top-notch science. No question about it. But the only thing I always ask Brian, can you scale up? Yes, somebody's going to pay the money and scale down. Okay, all these are explained, really well explained. Okay, so with that, I'm going to stop and go to the next one, is thermal property. So I'm going to pull one example because that is one of the best I've seen talk about mechanical property. Because most people will do this and pull it, yeah, it's interesting, but it's not attract my attention. I'm going to talk about thermal. Well, thermal, I'm going to talk about only one of the things that's very important, is thermal conductivity. Like I said, polymer is insulated. If you try to have a polymer thermally conductive, you got to do something about it. Okay, so I'm actually showing you some example. I kind of tell you why is this important, and this has been around. People use carbon base. So I picked this as an example, and carbon base nanomaterial. It can be single wall, multi wall, nanography. Those are carbon base. Okay, so you'll be able to do that. And actually, this group of people from the University of Torino did an excellent job to talk about thermal conductivity using CNT with polymer nanocomposites. So I read a lot of papers, and I start. The first thing I do is, if somebody, or if I'm writing a proposal to Department of Defense, I need to figure out that somebody actually did some work. That's why I always take a quick look and search and see anybody actually have done a very good job already. Otherwise, it's what you call your reinventing the wheel. You heard that phrase? You don't say, oh, my idea is so good, I'm going to just go ahead and do that. But you need to check the literature. You may not have to check at all, but you need to see what's happening. And that's how you write your proposal. And sometimes you get funding. But if you don't do that kind of job, you just say, my idea is so good, well, somebody is going to review it and say, no, somebody has done it already. You're not being funded. So, but these folks have done a very good job. And actually, I was there a few years ago, and I'm very impressed with what they're doing in Italy. I have a lot of Italian collaborators, and these folks are one of my collaborators in the University of Torino. And that's what Pierre graduated from there. He told me, oh, okay. So I'm one up with him. Because I was there actually giving the talk. So really important is everybody using CNT. They use multi-wall, they use single wall, and they will say that I could actually make you thermally conductive. It really depends on structure, all of these different things. Majority of people you see is epoxy. You know why epoxy? I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to take a break. Can I ask you a question? Why people spend so much time epoxy?
Why do they spend so much
time choose epoxy? Why do you use epoxy?
Because it's fairly versatile. You can usually a two-component system that you mix, and it hardens relatively quickly.
It's a very well. It's actually a widely used. And everybody want to work with epoxy. Why? Because if they find a solution, they can be rich, right? I don't work with epoxy. Why? Because I go away from very high temperature. Epoxy doesn't make a cut in what I do. But if somebody pay me to do epoxy, I will do epoxy. But all the things that I do, somebody got to pay. Okay. So I work with a lot of defense. That's why sometimes I do epoxy if my sponsor says you need to work on epoxy. So as a matter of fact, one of our projects was funded, and we have to do epoxy. Why? Because it's actually used on airplane wings, and it's epoxy. Okay. So that's why everybody in the brother will work on epoxy, because that's the most common. And if you hit a solution, you make a nanomaterial that could do very well in epoxy, then you probably get rich. Okay. All right. So this group of people actually, I'm not going to go through like a set, like the results, but more how they're doing it, what kind of characterization technique they use. So they basically use multi-wall carbon nanotube, and they are using on a bisphenol A, And you also use rubber particle. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to pick on you. Why do you use rubber particles? No. How about you? Why do you use rubber particles? Huh?
I don't know.
Here, I gotta see ahead. Why? That's exactly right. So that's why I'm saying that everything that people put in the system has a reason. Rubber particle is well known to give you toughness. Epoxy is very brittle. So those are the things that you can start reading and know about. Why is it they do it? Well, they gotta have. They want they want thermally conductive. That's why they put multi-wall carbon nanotube. They use from 2 to 1. They don't know enough about that. That's why they do a low study. We do the same thing. Okay, and they do all these and then show, and then they have a method 3 omega. They have different methods of measuring thermal conductivity. Okay, like 3 omega is widely used, and they use that. And he was able to say that if you use 0.4 of multi-wall carbon nanotube, and you get 60% in increase of thermal conductivity. Is it? Let me ask you this: is it good? 16%. Is it significant from your experience? Huh?
It should be more.
Yeah, it should be more. Yeah. But unfortunately, a lot of people just start publishing the results. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but 16% it's just good, but it's nothing to write home about. Okay, but like this, you take a look that okay, they have this as a need right here, and they put all these effort and then yeah, it's just better than none, but it's not very significant. You can see people writing papers about it. I guess somebody funded, do it, and then we'll publish it. And they talk about what I like this paper is about TMs. You take a look at this. This is a TM with all the multiple carbon needle in the epoxy. And you know this is not going to work. And this one, they have A, B, C. They actually show that what are the difference between A, B, and C. And you can see that is, I'm trying to show the power of TM. Okay? And they came all these, I'm not going to actually go through all these, but the important thing is you need to look at the material, the morphology. If you don't pay attention to morphology, you don't know why is it working. So that's why I tell my students that always look for the mechanism. What's the mechanism? Make it work. Okay. For this, and you can see that some of them are better than the other. Basically, in the book, will tell you what A, B, and C, and you can see these are all TDL, and that's what I like. Well, this is important. This is what you see that if you see this kind of morphology, it's a poor dispersion because your multi-wall carbon nanotube, well, these are all like not real. Multi-wall carbon nanotube curve. Everything that a lot of people do, actually dispersion and all that, they are just flat. They are never. So this is a very good network. Okay, but the important thing is you actually were able to connect, but if you actually want electrical connectivity or thermal connectivity, you wanted to touch each other, but you want mechanical, you want to separate. So they are competing each other. So you need to see what one do I want. If you have all these, it's perfect for heat flow because the electron jumps from one here or the other, but if you separate it, it will give you better mechanical properties. Those are the things you need to see which one is important. Okay, so in general, we could say that thermal conductivity can be achieved by adding these highly conductive and make it uniform to dust, and you have a good epoxy. Okay, I think some of the things that you also need to know is later on is surface treatment. Okay, unfortunately, surface treatment sometimes it competes. You have surface treatment, sometimes you actually hurt your thermal or electrical conductivity. But you have surface treatment, you always get better dispersion. So you have to see which is more important, or you will say that this is what I want for my system. Okay, so that's what I want to tell you about thermal conductivity. The next one is one of my actually students, PhD patient, flame retardant nylon 6. You probably know nylon 6 drips and melt. We are the first one who actually came up with a way to make it non-drip and pass UL 0. Okay, so we did all these, but at that time, my student was actually working on fabric. We are thinking about making flame retardant fabric, and nylon 6 is only one component of that. The other two are different. So we are not actually looking at a flame retardant nylon 6 just for nylon 6, but there's only one of the components. So we did all these solution blending and clay all these using clay and using actually nylon 6 from Honeywell, and we used at that time it's still Southern clay, it's like BYK, and we used a fair amount of flame retardant from Carrier. Carrier is a Swedish company. We work closely with them, and we do transfer extrusion. Just explain a little bit about DO94 and how MCC works, and ask what we use a fair amount to characterize the properties. So you can see we use TGA. We only talk about thermal stability. Basically, you have one formula compared to the other, and then you will see which one will give you better light properties. And because we usually have a large matrix, we need to down select and see which one we need to do more characterization. So this is a UL94 test, and UL90 V2 is dripping. It's what you call dripping. And here, the intimate actually form a chart, a very good chart that it will pass V0. Okay, so this is what you see in chart formation of all these pass V0, and we look at that because we look at others. That's the second actually characterization we're looking for the mechanism. We always would like to learn what's the mechanism. We find out that the char, actually the clay form a very good char on the outside. Anything underneath that is still virgin. Okay? But if you don't have that mechanism, the char formation, you will never get your V0 rating. Okay? So we did all this. Well, the killer is elongation and break. If you read the literature, everybody put the intrusion in there. You get what you want, but the elongation and break. Take a look at that. The one is neat, 230%. We have a UL94 V0. Elongation is really bad. It's only 3%. Okay? So those are the things we started looking, and so we go back and reformulate and add one more actually component, elastomer. And we were able to bring it up, okay, and did it, and this is what we just talked about, rubber toppers. And we put the elastomer in there, and we were able to find a synergism for the flame retardant and the clay and the elastomer. And let me show you this. This is the formulation we actually come up with. Okay, that was actually Howe's PhD dissertation. And we finished that, and we did a lot of TM. So these are what we call interpolate. These are what I explained to you earlier. If you cut it the right direction, you can see these are what you call tail line. That's single. That's single. So in some place you have intercalate. If somebody say that I have a fully exfoliate polymer, they are bullshitting. It's really such a thing. It's always intercalated and exfoliate, but you need to look enough TM, and people always attacking TM as, well, you only look at tiny little thing. Well, if you look a little bit in different area, you could get a general idea. So we did a lot of those, and it's all in his PhD dissertation. And you have these flame retardant particles, and then you can see a larger scale. You can see this flame retardant will disperse really well in the polymer. So he did all these things, and then he will come back. See, I show you that he was able to bring it up to 76 location. That's substantial. We started with 3. Okay, all these were done actually, and we looked at the impact. We looked at a lot of characterization. Okay, and we look at all the here's B2. Okay, there's dripping. B0 is like that. Okay, so we were able to see all these formulations. Majority of B0. Okay, so it occurred to us now we could get inorganic B0 very flat. But is this the best formulation? No. We need to go back and look at the, especially elongation of brick. So we were training that, and we were able to actually now come up with a formulation of 76%. You could never get to need. You're kidding yourself. You say, oh, I'm going to bring it to need. You look at the literature, you look at technical data sheet, a lot of them have very low elongation because you put this intrusion, put this all these components in there, it's going to hurt your polymer. But we were able to achieve B0 and get a 76%. So that's why I got a PhD. Okay, the last one, 15. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. If you have technology, you think it works, it doesn't mean it's going to fly. Okay, it works, but there are a lot of times that it may be a very good technology, it's not going to be accepted by everybody. Okay, so this is what happened. A lot of startup companies, they have this nanomaterials, do this, and they're going to make a bunch of money. Well, a lot of them actually didn't make it. Okay. When you look around, you see all the large companies who put money in there. Some of them survive, some ones will not. So it's almost like a big fish is going to eat up all the small fishes. Okay. And when it started, it's all got numerous startup companies to make nanomaterials. And eventually, maybe after a few years, they cannot make it, then the big company is going to swallow them and buy them. Okay, so you look at the literature, you look at, I use it as an example. 2001, US put a lot of money. Okay, and so far we put 22 million from 2001 to here. This is actually older now, 2016. That's when I published a book. It's 1.5 billion for national nano initiative. That means that our governments is actually supporting this. I think the tool, and this is basically show you what are the different agencies that actually started in 2001 all the way to 2016. That's important because that's where I look at where I get my research money. Okay, if this whole area is dropping, I'm here to sell hamburgers. Okay, but the important thing, you look at the trend, you know a lot more. That's why I look at all these data. It's not technical, but you don't know what's going on. You don't know where the next bucket of money is coming from. Okay, so you can see that I borrowed this from this company because you notice a lot of these what you call marketing survey is very expensive. Okay, but this company is nice to me. I could use all that data and I give them credit. Okay, so that's basically said that. Like it have that much money and it's going annual rate of 10% is substantial, and only top 10 players actually is getting 80% of money. You know, the rest it's actually getting 20%. Clay and multiple carbon into multiple, not single one, are dominant. And you look at the who are using that and all that, and you can see that North America 25%, Europe 22%, Asia altogether 31%, and that's what is all the money. Okay, and you come down to here that the important thing is nanomaterials. Where do you get all these figures? I'm just telling you. I don't know where he get all these figures because he said this is my prediction. Okay, all right. And at that time when I get that, it's actually 2016. He may actually have new data here. He's not showing me yet. Okay, in my next book, I'm going to ask him, do you have any new data? But the important thing is, it's growing. You will see that health, personal care, energy, E&E, electronics are the big areas. Okay. Later on, you may see actually drug delivery, biofuel. Okay. I don't actually work on these two areas, so I actually don't know too much about it. But the important thing is that is the sector that is growing. Aerospace is not a good sector, but unfortunately, I'm too old to change all these. But that's for my expertise. I cannot say I'm going to go to electronic stuff. It's not my expertise. Okay. And you see, clay can be used in all these. These are already in production. A lot of times you don't kill it. Okay. CNT is already in some of these. Okay. And then he divided by industry sector: transportation, construction, packaging, and that's what is used actually current or potential for nanomaterials. And you come down aerospace. I work on this. Okay. Well, I get my share of money. Okay, research money, and I also work on some of the areas of consumer goods like flame retardant, nylon. That's one of my areas. Energy and health and other areas. Flame. This is what I work on. Also flame resistant clothing. Okay. So you can see that sports actually have a fair amount of nanomaterial. I'm going to ask a question. Why sport is so successful? Sporting goods. I'm going to ask this lady. I'm going to pick on it. Why is sports so successful?
Why is nanomaterials?
Yeah, in sports. Not in aerospace, for example. Why is it so successful? I'm not trying to embarrass you. Somebody answer the question for me?
Because people are happy to spend a lot of money for a small piece of material.
Plus also, there's no safety. If you break your golf, whatever, I'll buy another one. But you try to put it, sell the Boeing, oh no, guys, sell the NASA, oh no, there's life. So that's why this whole area has been booming. And they say, well, I break it, I ask the guy, did you disperse your multiple company? Well, I don't care, I just sell another one. That's why that's the quality and the thing, they don't really care. But people said, you can sell golf, sure, wow. That's why it's so successful in this area. I actually talked to Eden and said, why is it so good? Okay. So that's why. Oh, they're actually using it on tools, okay? And actually I asked my dentist, do you see some? Yeah, we use some of those because actually it will cure fast, okay? And this is kind of old. You can see that people are using it on automotive. That was before GM getting in trouble, okay? GM now, and it's never getting back. Well, this is used in all these, but this is what I'm going to actually say a few things. Any of you guys a tennis player? Yeah. Have you seen this tennis ball? You never? You know why? Well, I'll tell you the reason. This was actually very successful in terms of durability. Okay, the whole idea is gas barrier. So you have a coating around the rubber, and this tennis ball is not going to lose air. Well, guess what? They didn't know that good tennis players don't use those tennis. They just use it for maybe one time, or maybe 2 times. So if you depend on those guys use the tennis ball for months, they're not going to buy more. So that's why the technology works. But they didn't think about all these professional, they just use it, gone. So it was a Wilson, okay? It was a very good, and I keep on searching for that. And I said, I was in Europe, I couldn't find it. And finally, I got a can. I sent an email to the company who developed that nut to Wilson. Hey, I want to have a can, can you send me one? They sent me one. It's not because of technology. Because see, you to play tennis, all the fuss is gone. Well, I don't care how good arms is. Nobody uses it. Only the guys use it for 6 years or 6 months. Well, they're not going to buy a whole bunch. Well, that is a good technology. But the guy didn't think about it. He must not be a tennis player. And that's what it doesn't work. So you never seen that. I was chasing around trying to find a can. I finally got a can from the company in New Jersey, Compliment. I said, from the guy who actually developed that. So this is actually really good. This is real. Okay, this actually was developed as a flame retardant using nano clay as well as ATH, and they're selling it. Okay, it's from Belgium. It's a real good product. Okay, so they talk about all these things can be done and all that. Some of them are in, some of them are not. They talk about you can do aerospace, you can wind energy, and actually some of the exploded like automotive, they actually have that in the car. Only the Lamborghini or Ferrari, not the daily car that we drive. That's okay. And marine, and it's very interesting. Okay, so this is what they show that in the year to like so many years, and eventually, which is very true, right? Stuart, when we started a long time ago in airplane, in Boeing, there's a lot of metal. I think the 787, I don't know, the number is like 53% composite now because of what you're saying. I'm not saying it's nanocomposite in there, it's 53%. I was invited a few years ago to Boeing, to Seattle, give a roadmap, whatever thing you call it, said, they asked me, which nanomaterials is going to go and it will work? I told them it's clay, and at that time, carbon nanofibers you may be able to get into your product. The rest, forget about it, because it's so expensive, it's so difficult. And I was right. It was a long time, more than 10 years ago. Okay, so all these things they come in, and they are in some of those. And you ask me what is it? I actually no idea. But actually, the company in Dallas is very nice to be able to use all that. And display, body armor. This is actually very big waterborne purification for nanomaterials. And they come down here. Drug delivery is also very good too. Our medical, actually, like colleagues tell me, they use some of those. Okay, and the overall conclusion. Here's nanomaterials is continual, is playing an ever increasing role in making product. The whole thing is lighter, stronger, flame retardant, because remember, polymer burns, can be conductive and improve a lot of these things. So that's why nanomaterials are really changing the world. See this thing? I actually use it over here. See, this is a UT. What we started changing this whole marketing. And there are a lot more of these research in the US and the rest of the world. And the important thing is you need to see what's your application. Nanomaterials is not for everybody. If you have a unique application, you need that, it's going to work. That's why you don't go home. Some people ask me, oh, can you do recycling using nanomaterials? It's like tough business. You can say that we can put a little bit in there. A long time ago, 15 years ago, I was doing EPA recycling. Every time I talk about how many cents you save, that is not for me. So that's why I do a lot of defense applications, because certain things that you cannot actually do it with the present polymer, but we could actually make a difference. We'll be able to do all that. I think one of the important things is this whole thing is in crossroad. Some of them will work, some of them will not. But there's a fair amount of funding in doing nano composite, and I would like to acknowledge all these guys have been funding me. See the dollar sign in there? They actually give me money. So all these guys actually sponsor my research for the past 21 years. Why 21? Because before that I was in industry. I don't even talk about what I do in the industry. But this is what I left industry and became a professor, and these are the funding agencies that have been funding us. And that's what we have. And one of the most important things I want to acknowledge is in general, these are the agency, Department of Defense funding us, and and all that. Now, the three areas we do a lot of research is ablation, permeability, and additive destruction, UT, as well as my company. I have to give a lot of credit for NASA Johnson because they give us instruments, and they will hire my students, and that's what I need to give them a lot of credit. And I have colleagues that's now working with me doing modeling. My background a long time goes to modeling, and I felt that we need to do some modeling in order to learn about the materials performance. If you just do materials, and then you do this, and people come and ask you, well, how thick, or TPS, how thick is it? I have no idea, I gotta test it. It doesn't work. You need to predict certain performance. Okay? With that, that's my new book. If you buy it, I got 18%. And I'm the, like, see, editor-in-chief of this new journal, and you can do flame retardant stuff. Submit a paper, will go through, verify, and it's going to be reviewed, and there will be open process. With that, I'm going to stop. Thank you very much.
Thank Mr. Hu for an outstanding presentation. There should be very few people in the world who could take a broad area such as nanomaterials and condense that into a package which is about 30 minutes long. You must be exhausted after doing all that. But and to look at it from both the material side, the processing side, the application based area to provide that all in one package, I think was an absolutely outstanding presentation. So we certainly thank you for putting that together for us. Just before we close, is there any questions for Professor Koo?
You have my email in there. I don't give my business card. Google me. You'll find out what I do. I always answer this email, except certain places. I would delete that. Okay, I'll let you think about it. But majority of them, I actually answer email, personal, and I make a lot of friends. Okay, so any questions for me? Yes.
Very interesting presentation. In regards to polemic policy, with the textile, have you done anything on the surface specification to get the products of the fabrics of water?
Not so sure. What we do is, I'll tell you a little bit about.
Can I get into water?
Here it is. What we are doing is, okay, I'll give you what we do. We have been writing proposal to they haven't funded, but I actually have an idea that, okay, when you look at the Army uniform, it's usually 50-50, 50 cotton, 50% nylon in the US. But that's, you actually have a drip nylon. You cannot put more than 8% in order to make plastic tests. We actually have done not just nylon, we actually have nylon, we have flame retardant cotton, and PPI fibers. It's very expensive. And we were able to do the experiment, and we were able to bring up the nylon up to 20%. But the nylon is not the regular nylon section. It's a flame retardant, as my students, PhD dissertation.
So you haven't done anything like cotton, you just did it on the nylon to increase the
and also with the help of the other two components. See, no one is going to just use nylon as the like for flame retardant. You always have the other part. So that's why I have actually partnership from, you probably heard about Nancy. They are my partner. I also have PBR, they are my partner. So I will get the material, and we basically will do the experiment. And instead of using small amount of nylon, we're able to use 20% flame retardant nylon. We were able to extrude the fiber and actually put it in the, I think we actually published that. It's clay is only one. I think there are different things in there. I think I actually talked about last Tuesday. I never find patterns, but I want to say secret. And Coca-Cola is one of the best places in the world. So I think a lot of times when you talk about patent, yeah, it's good to write patent, but I think I'm going to give in that example. My small company, I'm lawyer. If lawyer would like to use my patent, you got 20 lawyers. Who's going to win? They're going to win. So why do I need to disclose all these? I just say, I have a formulation. It's not just one, different one. Because we have done enough work that, as you can see, that we have different formulas in there. And you change certain things to give you this product. So we are looking for an overall balance of performance. It's not just like, it's going to be frame retardant, really good. Well, the other one. So make a long story short, we never actually look at surface treatment. Because I'm not a chemist. Are you a chemist? That's why you ask me. Everybody asks me surface treatment. We don't do surface treatment.
In Australia, they use PBI, or they use polymers.
Yes.
That's what they use at the moment. But for that part, I think they use content for one, which is not very good.
So what we do is we're going to bring up the nylon percentage use, not for firefighter. Firefighter use PBI. That's why PBI came to me and asked me, can you use something? Give us something that's cheaper. Like PBI is not the only thing they use there. Everything that I do, I always have an industrial part. They teach me a lot more things. Because I'm academic. I actually don't know enough about what are all these things. They just basically, this is what we have. If you can do this, you can make the nylon 6 higher, we're able to do that. But now I'm looking for fun. They haven't fun yet. But we actually have all the data that we are proposed to. Thank you. Any other questions?
Professor Ku,
Yes.
I used to teach your book for my students.
Oh, is that right? Good or bad? That was good.
I'm very happy
Thank you.
to be there and you mentioned. I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Regarding, high shear is melting. So, how successful or your groups are in making electrically conducting nanocomposites to the melting? Because what I observed in case of good dispersion, you have to go for high shear mixing into extruder, and then that will truncate your length.
That's what I
Considerably.
So what happened is this. What polymer are you using?
We are using thermoplastic polymerization.
Thermoplastic. And you're using twin screw extrusion?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, you have to see, you don't want to break. I think what I suggest you do is, you actually, when you buy, let's say, multi-wall carbon here, you always come in bulk. You will try to debulk it using metal balls, a little bit. A little bit is you have to define. But if you try to put your multi-wall carbon and put it directly in your extruder, well, if you use very high sheet, you'll break everything. L over D is going to change. So what you want to do, you've got to pre-process. Use metal ball, zirconium, and you actually break it down enough that you will use that before you go into two structures. And that, I find it very helpful. That's what I learned from carbon nanofibers, applied science. So when they came up with all these carbon nanofibers, it's all flexible, hairball. So if you try to say, oh, I'm going to bring it in my thermoset, it's tough. You have to debulk it. You're not going to beat it like the dev and oh, okay, I got all these very short fibers. Then you may have to do some experiment to see how it works. I think the pre-processing, it works a lot better than you go directly. Okay? That's kind of what I do. Okay? Thank you. Any other questions?
No more questions. Just remind me that
this is my introduction.
It is.
Okay. If you have any questions, send me email. Oh, all time. Oh.